We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. I believe you have to be willing to be misunderstood if you're going to innovate. Life's too short to hang out with people who aren't resourceful. I think frugality drives innovation, just like other constraints do. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. The best customer service is if the customer doesn't need to call you, doesn't need to talk to you. It just works. If you don't understand the details of your business, you're going to fail. If you're competitor focused, you have to wait until there is a competitor doing something. Being customer focused allows you to be more pioneering. If you do build a great experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. My view is there's no bad time to innovate. When it comes to space, I see it as my job. I'm building infrastructure the hard way. I'm using my resources to put in place heavy lifting infrastructure so the next generation of people can have a dynamic, entrepreneurial explosion into space. The common question that gets asked in business is, why? That's a good question, but an equally valid question is, why not? People will visit Mars, they will settle Mars, and we should because it's cool. The special ops guys and the firefighters around the world have this great phrase. They say, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, and that is true. Everything I've accomplished in my life has been because of that attitude. Because, resilience, if you think of it in terms of the gold rush, then you'd be pretty depressed right now because the last nugget of gold would be gone. But the good thing is, with innovation, there isn't a last nugget. Every new thing creates 2 new questions and 2 new opportunities. If your customer base is aging with you, then eventually you are going to become obsolete or irrelevant. You need to be constantly figuring out who are your new customers and what are you doing to stay forever young. I think that, I'm a very goofy sort of person in many ways. I'm a genetic optimist. The thing that motivates me is a very common form of motivation. And that is, with other folks counting on me, it's so easy to be motivated. Great industries are never made from single companies. There is room in space for a lot of winners. I don't think that you can invent on behalf of customers unless you're willing to think long term, because a lot of invention doesn't work. If you're going to invent, it means you're going to experiment, and if you're going to experiment, you're going to fail, and if you're going to fail, you have to think long term. Amazon.com strives to be the e-commerce destination where consumers can find and discover anything they want to buy online. You want your customers to value your service. You don't want to negotiate the price of simple things you buy every day. The Moon Village concept has a nice property in that it basically just says, look, everybody builds their own lunar outpost, but let's do it close to each other. That way, you can go over to the European Union lunar outpost and say, I'm out of eggs. What have you got? Real estate is the key cost of physical retailers. That's why there's the old saw, location, location, location. Infrastructure web services had to happen. I think the definition of a book is changing. People forget already how much utility they get out of the internet, how much utility they get out of email, how much utility they get out of even simple things like brochureware online. The question really is, are you improving the world? And you can do that in many models. You can do that in government, you can do that in a nonprofit, and you can do it in commercial enterprise. No matter what your mission is, have some notion in your head. Forget the model, whether it's government or nonprofit or profit. Ask yourself the more important question: is my mission improving the world? Are you sure about it? Seek to disconfirm that all the time. And if you can, change your mission.